and welcome to the Hodge Pack, sports, life, and everything in between right here on 106.9 The Country Giant. We are brought to you by Live Land and Cattle and our guest up here on our Pest Control phone line. We're live in the Potosi Live studio here in the Mall of Abilene. It's a great week. So much happening, so much going on as high school football, some kicked off last night. The first Friday Night Lights is tonight. Full slate of college football games. Receivers are getting signed. One is still on the shelf, trying to still be chased. Will he ever be chased and caught and finally signed? Who knows? But quarterback's still on the not signed list, but I think they're doing just fine when it comes to dollars. We are here, jam-packed show, lots to talk about. Kicking off our first pick'em week. It's a lot of stuff, but Hodge, Misty, and Josh are here. How are we this morning?
Fantastic.
Yeah, up and at 'em. It's I was telling you I was kind of coming in hot this morning. The back to school Friday morning routine is much different. The traffic is. I was asking Missy about this because the traffic is terrible. At 6:30 in the morning, I've had to drive by Wiley High School, and I was thinking, I was never out and about this early when I was in high school. What are all these people doing? The band was practicing. Like
The band, they are overachievers and
Yeah.
fantastic. Like, they practice all the time. It is absolutely incredible what the band does.
Which, it's probably their walkthrough, because again, tonight,
Oh yeah,
tonight is their first
it's
show.
kickoff Friday.
It's showtime.
It is Friday Night Lights and lots to cover. Like I said, some games played last night. Big news in the six-man world. Two-time state champion Westbrook had some people graduating, all that. But Jayton, the Jaybirds beat them last night, 66-16. I saw that our Big Country Blitz, Cody Coyle posted it. And then last night, of course, Jim Ned played Lubbock Estacado last night, lost 14-7. But again, tonight, full slate of games. Will be me and Andy Penny. We'll be going to Brownwood to call the Wiley and Brownwood game today. Yesterday. Merkel doesn't go to school on Fridays, and so I went yesterday to watch the pep rally and go talk to Coach Wood, who's going to be on the show today. Coach Wood, the head football coach at Merkel, first year here as the Badgers leader, and along with C.J. Walcott, they'll be on our Pest Control phone line in the second hour for our Big Country Electric My Town segment. But they'll be playing the Ballinger Bearcats tonight in Merkel, so they'll be opening up again. Abilene High is playing San Angelo Central, and Cooper is playing Azle. And again, I mentioned Jim Ned played last night. After our first segment, after this, we will come back and we'll have ESPN's former Atlanta Falcon, former Tennessee Titan, and that boy bad from Get Up, Harry Douglas, will be on our Pest Control phone line. And of course, the Badgers will join us on that Pest Control phone line too. Josh, Misty, lots going on last night, and it kicked off with some Thursday night. We had the upset last Saturday. Florida State, who many thought, should have been in the playoff last year. They were undefeated. Of course, deep down, unless you have everybody coming back, which I don't think that exists anymore in college football, somebody went to the NFL, somebody graduated, or somebody went to another team. But last Saturday, we saw the first upset in college football, even though there's 12 teams and there's 12 slots, and we're going to pick our 12 later on, there's 12 slots, but now Florida State and the ACC probably lost one of those spots, but even more so opened the door for Clemson and Miami as Georgia Tech beats Florida State in Dublin last week and got it done. But then last night kicked off the full slate of Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and because the NFL is 1 week away, less than 1 week away, we have college football on Sunday. It is a great week for us as a sports fan and for sure as a football fan.
Oh my gosh, yes. Like, don't ask me to do anything unless we're watching football. My girlfriends are already annoyed because last week I was like, okay, we're watching football today. And they were like, are you serious? And I'm like, yeah, I'm serious. So I'm the annoying husband, I think, this year. I'm so excited.
Well, and last night was the all eyes up north in the mountains as Deion Sanders and Shadur Sanders and Travis Hunter and Shiloh Sanders and all the hoopla that was going with Dion and Coach Prime, and North Dakota State almost ruined their home opener.
Yeah, that was the game yesterday that I was really looking forward to watching. It was because North Dakota State is not your like 1AA cupcake. I mean, they're a good team, and they went into Boulder and put a scare on the prime time, and I was kind of sad that game wasn't a game that we could have in the pick'em because it was on Thursday night, because I don't even remember what the spread was going into it, but I would not have picked Colorado giving the points, and I'm sure that turned out to be correct, even though, like I said, I can't remember what the spread was.
So 31-26, Colorado literally claws and fights to win. Travis Hunter last night elevated, and I know it was against North Dakota State, and I know nobody else was playing, and so it was easy to watch. But some of the catches and the plays he made last night were unbelievable.
Yes.
He's going to be in New York, whether he wins the Heisman or not, I don't know. But he will be for sure in the Heisman talk. 31-26 goes in the win column as a W. But what does that go in the column of perception for Coach Prime and the Buffaloes?
Well, last year they came out hot. That was all of the hype was there. They won 4 straight games, then had a kind of a close loss to a good team. I think that was when they played USC, if I remember correctly. Don't quote me on it, but Colorado.
No, remember it was last year. They beat TCU last year, and then Colorado State came to town, and they barely beat them.
They did, but I'm saying they won more games than they'd won the previous 2 seasons in a row. Going in, and then the wheels came completely off, and by the end of the year, they were just getting throttled, and so the hype was back again for whatever reason. I mean, it's just because Deion Sanders is a hype machine.
Are you over it this season? Do you care about it? Like, how do you feel about Deion?
Well, I want to see if he can actually coach a football game. I mean, just because he can recruit, he can build hype, he's good for a soundbite. He's
to me and I know this will get me canceled and not invited to the Colorado Buffalo press room like you've done with CBS reporter and a few others. My struggle is I'm not tired of seeing what Colorado can do, because there is a lot of hype. He is a hype guy. He is a straight WWE personality. And like I was talking to a friend last night, when you go ahead and identify yourself as Coach Prime and you're not Coach Sanders, that's a whole nother deal. Number 2, I'm not so much tired of, and he probably got offended when I told people last night, he Caitlin Clark college football last year. Because when they beat TCU week 1, and in college game days coming to Colorado for the first time, it's a big deal. And you got The Rock in attendance and Pat McAfee and all that, but then it started to fizzle away. When you start doing that, it's exciting, but is it becoming more of a, like Josh said, what happens when you have to make the decision on what play to run?
Right.
To make the decision, do we go for it on 4th down? Do we go for 2? Do we kick the field goal? And all those things. And last night they were behind and had an opportunity to continue the drive and maybe score a touchdown. And he realized, go. And he said, I'm not gonna over risk anything. Let's just make it 20-17. And that's what he did. So I'm not tired of it from all we're doing is talking about Deion. I just think some of the way he carries himself makes it difficult.
Yeah, no, I totally can see that. Yeah, it is definitely, like you made a good point about Coach Sanders versus Coach Prime. I mean, Coach Prime is definitely an alter ego, and now I'm just going to see him like as this big wrestling machine as he enters the field every week. But I don't know. I like it. It doesn't matter to me. I don't care about any team in Colorado, so I like the hype. It makes it very entertaining. So to me, I don't care if he coaches or not. I'm just here for the hype, personally.
Well, I mean, it's entertaining.
Yeah, it's fun.
That's the thing. It's like it's something to talk about, and why we talk about it so much, and like just the collective sports world, I really don't even understand. I mean, you think about it. I mean, yes, he's a Hall of Famer. He is um, a personality, but he went to a doormat Pac-12 team and they won 4 games. I mean, like, why do we care?
But he's so successful because we're
Like,
still talking about it.
I know,
mean,
I
that's
know.
what's so crazy.
Because any other coach takes that job, and yes, Colorado
Right.
won more games than they had. Like I said, they
Yeah.
they won 1 game the year before, and then but you'd be like, all right, that they improved.
Yeah,
You wouldn't
we're
be like,
involved in
oh, we
it.
can't wait to see Colorado play on Thursday night to kick off the football season. But yet, last night I was like, that's the game I'm going to watch
I
today.
know, it's
Like,
wild.
Well, and the other game that was on last night was North Carolina, Minnesota, which was another good game, but I don't know if you got to catch it. North Carolina comes and wins 19-17, loses Mac Johnson, quarterback, had a hip injury, don't know how long he'll be out. He's the son of Brad Johnson, who won a Super Bowl with the Buccaneers, who also transferred from A&M, which we'll be having A&M football games all year long, including tomorrow as they take on Notre Dame Fighting Irish. But again, that's our Lawrence Hall headline report. College football kicked off last night. We'll throw in Scotty Scheffler in the Tour Championship last weekend of golf. Last week, we cheered on Hideki Matsuyama. Show was over. He withdrew. So I'm not going to tell anybody who I'm cheering for this weekend because I'd like for that person to play all 4
bold move.
Bold move,
Yeah.
Cotton. Hey, speaking of bold, there is not one bolder on the TV screen than Harry Douglas. When we come back, ESPN's Harry Douglas from Freddie and Harry, and also Get Up on Thursdays. He'll be a part of College Game Day tomorrow. He'll be here in Texas, down in College Station, doing stuff for College Game Day. So when we come back, Harry Douglas will be on our Pest Patrol phone line, and we'll see what he has to say about Dak, wide receivers getting signed this late in the game. Of course, that's part of the other Lawrence Hall headline report. CeeDee Lamb signed. We'll talk more about that throughout the show as we have our receiver signed, and we are less than a week away from the NFL season kicking off. Full slate of high school games, full slate of college football, much more to talk about when we come back. Harry Douglas on the other side on our Pest Patrol phone line right after this.
Harry Douglas. I like how you said that. Harry Douglas. Very good, Hodgie.
Harry and the Hendersons.
Oh my gosh, talk about a throwback. My mom would make us watch that movie. Like all those weird old school movies, she would make us watch all of
I
those.
watched that as a child.
We're old school, not plugged in, hearing everything.
What?
Oh, okay. Basically, he just told us to watch our mouth.
On Facebook?
Yeah.
I always watch on
That's what that meant. That was Dad pre-getting onto us for something we may say.
I didn't do anything.
Just want to stay on the air.
We're not on the air. Facebook can't censor me. Mark Zuckerberg already admitted that he tried to censor.
He did. What a crazy week of politics. Are we coming in here?
I'm leaving. I got better things to do than hang out with y'all two.
No, you don't. Let's be real.
Harry?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you, man?
Doing well.
You getting up early with Hodge.
Man, I'm also on the way, about to go film a show to preview the Jordan Clemson matchup too. So.
I like it. Yeah, I always get a hard time. I became a fan of Clemson because of Dabo a few years ago, way before they were good. And so I'm excited for that game. And like I said, we had Dabo on back in March, so that was pretty cool. But getting you on the show is huge. So I'm excited.
No problem at all.
We got a couple of spots. I figured we talk about it's been an off season of wide receivers. how fast do they get ready, all those things. Should Cowboy fans, because we're part of the Dallas Cowboy Radio Network, should we be nervous? How long does Dak and CD connect? And then, of course, we also have Aggie football, which will be in College Station tomorrow. So we'll just talk about the college landscape and wide receivers and just about everything going. We'll promote the heck out of Freddie and Harry and go from there.
Sounds good.
We got 2 more spots and we'll be rolling. So how soon do y'all know when you're going where, and you're filling in for Greeny instead of doing Freddie and Harry? How does all that work?
It's weird. It's sometimes it's in advance, sometimes it's spur of the moment. It just depends.
Gotcha.
College game day, it's like literally that Sunday or Monday after the weekend split games. That's what we know we're going next. It's based off of the
Right. Cool. All right, we're coming back. Welcome back to the Hodge Pack, sports, life, and everything in between. It is time for That Boy Bad is normally on Thursday on Get Up, but That Boy Bad is today on the Pest Patrol phone line, joining us on his way to many things he's going to be covering this week. But joining us this morning, ESPN's NFL veteran, Harry Douglas. Harry, how are we this morning? I appreciate it, Harry. Harry joins Freddie Coleman every day. Well, especially start Monday. For our people, it's from 2 to 6. Freddie Coleman, Harry Douglas, catch them on ESPN Radio. We're trying to convince them. I tweet them all the time. We got to get them on ESPN Watch so we can watch and see the fun that Freddie and Harry have on Reggae Monday and Love Friday and everything in between. But yeah, Harry and I, we got to meet each other at the Cowboy game last year, and so we have been working on this, and it's working, and he's busy today, so we appreciate you taking the time. Harry, you are a wide receiver, 10-year veteran, played with some Hall of Famers. You know what it's like getting ready for camp. It has been an off season of wide receivers and contracts, and are we seeing that shift of just how important is the wide receiver becoming number 2 behind the quarterback? Well, and one of those talents for us, again, part of the Dallas Cowboy Radio Network, is CD Lamb, and got the deal done, got paid. We had to endure some things that we didn't understand what Jerry was actually saying and what all in meant. But he finally went all in with CD Lamb. So how long does it take to get into game shape? I'm sure he wasn't just playing Xbox and NCAA 25 leading up to this signing. How long does it take that connection to be picking up where you left off last year and getting into game shape?
Well, I'll say game shape. I'll start with that one first. And then, a week and a half or 2, right?
sure, and we're still kind of curious now that we've added Zeke back, what that's going to look like. Want to talk about your team that I feel like could be this year's Matt Stafford and Tom Brady first year new team. Your Falcons, I think, have a chance to be that good. Bijan, Langdon, Pitts are finally going to have a quarterback, hopefully healthy, that can lead them to where Atlanta has not been since the unfortunate Dan Quinn Super Bowl. How good do you think the Falcons can be, and with UT's Bijan Robinson?
I think number one, they should be able to win the AFC South, and I'll start there, right? Coaches get up there at the beginning of the year, we talk about each game, the number one goal that you want to do is win every game. So we got to think about the opportunity to do that for the last 2 years. But they were able to high quarterback position, so what they do for AFC, they would have got Kirk Cousins. And that's important because when you have a Drake London who's so great at the wide receiver position, you have a challenge here at the tight end position with Bijan Robinson, and all three guys you even drafted in the first round of the last 3 years. There's no sense to have a lottery on Willis Royce or Bugatti if you don't have an engine or a key to crank up that car. And that's what Kirk Cousins is going to be able to provide for those guys. I think Trey London's going to have a breakout year. I actually did my show Trey and Harry on the Falcons compilation yesterday. I sat down with Trey London to have a one-on-one. And I know him pretty well from the days I did the coaching internship with Falcons as well. So he's really looking forward to this season. About Kirk Cousins and how he's been helpful for him. And it's just those little conversations here and there, and Kirk not being afraid to come to him about any and everything. But I think Drake is going to have a tremendous year, and also bring the Falcons. They made moves defensively. They would have got Matthews and automated trade in the middle of the Patriots. They signed Jefferson to add him at the safety position with Jesse Bates the third. So I think this is a year for the Atlanta Falcons where they can transition and get over the hump they've been trying to get over the last few years.
Well, and I know, again, you're on your way to do some story for the big game that's going to be there in Atlanta, Clemson, and Georgia. But we talked about, you got a big day tomorrow, of course, college game day. But college football NFL is always going to be king, but the college football world with the new 12 team has kind of got a lot of attention. Who's going to be that boy bad? Who's going to be that team that nobody's talking about that needs to be watching out for this 12 teams?
Well, yeah, two of them. Number one, we seen one of them play last night. That was the Missouri Tigers with Brady Kirk at quarterback. He was the most elusive player in college football, Luther Burden III. And that's a team right there that a lot of people got to watch out for when you look at their schedule. It's very favorable for them. I think all you really have to worry about is number 5, Alabama. I think they go to Alabama in October, and that's going to be a heck of a matchup as well. The second one happens to be the SEC as well. I'm going to Ole Miss Rebels. I think Lane Kiffin has figured out that you just can't have these offensive juggernauts. You have to really dig it. So when got some transfers, number one team in college football that came to the transfer portal, Ole Miss Rebels were led by Lane Kiffin. So I think, Jackson Dart, they really had Juicy Wells from South Carolina. You had Trey Ayers who had a solid year at the wide receiver position. And then they had Jordan Watkins coming back. So I'm really looking for those two teams, Ole Miss and Missouri, to really make a noise.
Well, and again, just a couple more things before you have to go. One of those road games that Missouri will have is where you'll be tomorrow at College Game Day. The Texas A&M Aggies taking on Notre Dame. Tell our listeners what your role is with College Game Day so that we're on top of that and letting people know where they can enjoy Harry Douglas tomorrow.
Yeah, so I do a pre-show leading to College Game Day called Countdown to College Game Day. It's me, Harry Loud, and Christine Williamson with their own site. I'll hit there later today. Can't wait for the atmosphere. It's going to be crazy. Our show's on YouTube. It's on the ESPN app, so you can find that. It starts at 8:20 a.m. Eastern Time, and it's at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. And like I said, we lead into College Game Day. And just really looking forward to getting down to the College Station, enjoying that crowd, and just, the college football season started. So nothing beats College Game Day. Everyone, they wake up in the morning time and they look forward to it, and they're eating their breakfast, they're getting ready for the game. So it's going to be a good one.
Well, again, that is Harry Douglas. He's going to be tomorrow morning, 7:20 our time. Get onto the ESPN app. But every day, Monday through Friday, check out Harry Douglas and Freddie and Harry. 2 to 6 for us here, and of course 3 to 7 Eastern. Harry, you are that boy bad. I appreciate you taking the time to join us this morning, and enjoy Texas tomorrow. and hopefully we'll see you at the Cowboy game or see you soon.
No problem, I appreciate you.
All right, that is Harry Douglas off to do some covering. Going to see some Clemson, Georgia story this week with Harry Douglas. When we come back, baseball and how things are going. We'll be back right after this.
Happy Thursdays, Life Refreshers, the non-carbonated refreshers.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. So have a good one. Go ahead. All right, sounds good. Thanks, Harry. Appreciate it, bud. See you, man. Bye.
Happy Thursdays, Life Refreshers, weekend flavor, and day of the week. Celebrate chocolate, non-carbonated, naturally flavored flavors. One not to be alcohol, 0.4
For 34 years, North Avenue has been the place on the best in Chevrolet and Great products and great service too. So the next time you need a new car, truck, or SUV, come see us or shop 24/7 at LawrenceHallAbilene.com. One of Abilene's best new car dealers for over 28 years. How you, our customers.
Everyone in my family uses electricity differently. But when it comes to our Tesco Energy Cooperative, we all think about it.
Actually,
Is that shop thing going through the internet, or just, we're not hearing it? I didn't push a button on that, so I don't know what.
It literally just went black, the entire thing, the entire.
That's not correct. That's not, I don't think that's a good story.
Oh, okay, we were like, what the hell just happened?
Right.
We didn't turn it down.
we just lost the freaking Harry Douglas interview.
Huh?
Figure out a way to record off of Facebook Live.
But why, what button did you hit to make the sound come back on?
Program.
Because I didn't hit any buttons, but we were sitting in there,
It literally
Right.
went black.
the computer just went off, and then I pushed the power button on the computer to turn it back on, and then there was no sound.
It's like it just completely glitched out.
One of the things I'm not understanding are, oh, I can't, that's all me, that's not on anybody else. To tie her into this, because I want to talk baseball, because I think the judge thing is pretty big too, what kind of pace he's on. I think I saw the clip, but like he and Babe Ruth are the only two that have done something with this 50 home run thing.
Oh, there's Greg.
Telling him it was, well, I didn't hit the program.
I'll say, never mind.
It was all Hodge's fault.
It was all my fault. It was my fault I didn't hit the button.
Y'all can just, I mean,
Well, no,
y'all can just do.
No,
this
what I
one.
want to do is bring in part of our Facebook, our Black Plumbing Facebook question, was what's your favorite concession stand? Because we've got that going on. We can tie that into baseball
Sure,
concession
okay.
stands and high school football concession stands. Oh, we didn't have Harry because of me. Oh, it sucks.
I'm sorry. Well, and we were like, what do we do?
Yeah.
Like, we didn't know
Well,
what to do.
it was right as, it
Well,
happened
it's-
like
it's a
right
good
as you
thing
started
that-
talking to him, and she was like, should we text him? I was like, no, if you text him, he's gonna be all flustered trying to
I
do
know.
the
We were
interview, and like,
oh, we didn't know what to do.
All right.
And it would
No,
not come back
but that
on.
was my fault.
It
I
was-
should have recorded. I didn't hit record. Welcome back to the Hodge Pack Sports Life and everything in between. It is time for our First Bank and Trust Texas Ranger report, brought to you by First Bank and Trust. Right across the street from the Abilene Country Club. Josh, we're rocking and rolling. Ironically, the Texas Ranger report probably could be changed to the Rough Rider report. because the last couple of weeks, a lot of attention's not only been on Arlington, but a little farther north with the Frisco Rough Riders and the rehabilitation starts that we've seen for the Rangers. They went and played. I think it was legit. Was the attendance of 17 legit for the White Sox game?
I mean, it looked like it.
That many?
That 4 o'clock start for the redo game, or I don't know what the suspended game that started again. That the Tuesday's game got postponed, suspended. And it's funny because they still consider it that day, even though there were 9 pitches thrown in the top of the first. It started raining. They suspended the game and picked it up at exactly that same place in the game on Wednesday at 4 p.m. And I think you're right, Hodge. There were 17 people in the stands. On one hand, I get it. It's a day game on a work day that was not pre-planned, so it was not like on the schedule where you could plan to take a day off or whatever. And the White Sox are historically bad.
Would you have paid to be one of the 17?
Well, if I happened to be in Chicago, I definitely would have gone to that game. But I've only been to Chicago once. I'm not sure that I'm going back. It's a long story. But yeah, there's no one there. And even yesterday's game, which was a scheduled day game, had very few people in it. I watched some of that game and highlight for them and things because I don't like weekday baseball during the work week. Game day or day game, man, I'm all kinds of flustered. I like day games on the weekend. How's that? I'll just go with that. But anyway, the Rangers went to Chicago, won 3 games in a row. Corey Seager is a really good baseball player. Maybe not quite as good as Aaron Judge, but he's now got 30 home runs this season. He's been with the Rangers. This is his 3rd season, and he's already hit 96 homers in his 3 seasons with the Rangers. Hit his 200th home run yesterday. So that's the bright spot, I guess, for the Texas Rangers is Corey Seager's still very good, and he'll be back next year. And speaking of be back next year, as you were talking about, we've got some rehabbing pitchers with Jacob deGrom as pitched in Round Rock. He's pitched in Frisco, and he's making his way back. And then Kumar Rocker, the first-round draft pick, is absolutely dominating, so much so that I need to not talk about it because I might jinx it. And Hodge is pushing buttons, and I got distracted. So I don't even know if people can hear anymore because Hodge is pushing buttons. But anyway, so yeah, I mean the Rangers, like we talked about last week, it's on the wind down of their season. They're not going to repeat as world champions as much as I wish that would happen. But the future is still bright. The window is still open, and we get to kind of watch and see where we build for that future going in, the next month or so.
Well, and the Rangers, again, trying to figure out a way to claw back. Will they, again, got a little bit left. We're under 30 games left of the season. But the other thing that's been going on in baseball is Shohei hitting the 40-40 club, and then Aaron Judge now on pace. They're saying to now hit 63. I don't know if that's still the case. But the multiple years of 50 home runs that he has done is he's getting into the category of Babe Ruth, Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, Hank, those guys that have done that on a number of, and Alex Rodriguez is another one of hitting 50 home runs, and just at 32 years old, doing it in August with 30 plus games left. I know the debate is, they made a big deal about hitting 62 last year, which you broke the American League record, not the home run record. Until you beat Barry Bonds, you don't beat the home run record.
Well, I agree with that, and that 73 number is just like otherworldly, and I mean, I guess it was aided by the cream and the clear. But as you pointed out, Aaron Judge has joined the 50 home run club again this season. I saw that it's the 49th 50 home run season in the history of baseball, which that shows you how difficult that is. That, baseball's been going on, for 140 years, and only 49 times has someone hit 50 home runs in a season. And Aaron Judge has now done it for the third time. So that's a very high percentage of that club, and he's moved into the realm that only Babe Ruth is really, and especially with their comparisons of both playing for the Yankees and all of that. But he is in that very elite category. So he's just, it's incredible to watch Aaron Judge play baseball, and I realize that might be sacrilege to some people because the Yankees are the Yankees and you shouldn't like anything about the Yankees. But I also saw another stat on Aaron Judge this week. Since 2017, he leads the major leagues in home runs and in home run robberies.
That's impressive.
Because he did bring one back over the wall earlier this week, and they brought up that stat that since 2017, which I don't know, arbitrary stat start date, but that's just kind of an interesting juxtaposition that you've robbed more home runs than anyone and you've hit more home runs than anyone, because he's not just a guy that goes up and hits the baseball. I mean, he can play the outfield. He plays center field at 6'7", 200 and however 50 pounds. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, that's very, very impressive.
We've talked about being tired of Dion, and the big deal was because of what Shohei's been able to do, pitching and hitting, that everybody started making him the next Babe Ruth. Well, to me, I think now, even though he was on the West Coast with the Angels and he's still on the West Coast with the Dodgers, I think there's still a lot more now starting to see really Aaron Judge as being what I think people hoped Mike Trout would have been.
Well, yes. I mean, he's taken the kind of that, excuse me, that mantle of being the best player in baseball, and Shohei provides argument to that. So that's good, because it's like you can make an argument with Shohei. But the thing that especially this season with Shohei Ohtani being just a DH, I feel like it's kind of hard to be the MVP, be considered like the best player of the sport and not play on the other side of the ball. And he may win the National League MVP. He's the fastest ever to get 40 stolen bases, 40 home runs in a season. He passed that record that was set by Jose Canseco. And maybe he's tracking to do 50-50, which would be the first that has ever happened. But can you be the MVP if you don't play defense at all? I mean,
you better hit a lot of home runs and a lot of things.
50 homers and 50 stolen bases is pretty impressive,
Pretty
but
dang
you don't play defense. I don't know. I mean, I feel like if you take Ronald Acuna last year, set records as far as the amount of stolen bases, and I think it was 30 homers. He tore his ACL and he's out this year, but he plays a solid outfield also. So that's a whole nother debate, I guess, but it's still very impressive to have that kind of combination of speed and power. But I don't know. Like I said, with Aaron Judge playing center field, a premier defensive position, hitting on pace for 63 homers, that
he's my MVP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another MVP is Black Plumbing. We appreciate Black Plumbing. I'll be sure to give them a call, 675-8391. Our Black Plumbing social media question of the week. Josh, you've been to a few baseball games, and tonight, many high school stadiums are going to open. Misty, you're going to catch the ACU Texas Tech game tomorrow. So we threw out there for our Black Plumbing social media question, what is your favorite concession stand food? And I think it varies from sometimes level to level, or maybe where you're going. But probably the leader in the clubhouse with Shannon Barnes and a few others is the Frito pie.
I do like a good Frito pie. Do you like Frito pie? Josh is kind of giving,
Well,
he's putting his nose up at the Frito pie.
I did. I like a good Frito pie. I love Fritos. I mean, that's like, I can eat them just without anything. I mean, I love it.
Ew.
I know.
They must have chili and cheese.
Or a bean dip.
Or
Well,
be chili cheese
chili
Fritos.
cheese Fritos are
Yeah.
the pinnacle of snacks in a bag.
Frito
But
pie in your mouth.
I do like Frito pie. Cheetos. Or what are they called? Fritos.
but the reason I turn my nose up is like the ballpark and Frito pie it doesn't mesh for me. It's
Well,
like,
I think that's it, and we're running up on the clock before our break. That is another struggle? Is what is easy to eat in your confines of if you're at a stadium, whether it's Jerry World or the Globe Life, there's not a lot of room to spread out and enjoy your Frito pie or your nachos. Nachos was another one, jalapeno nachos.
But like, how much room? Like, here's me eating my nachos. Like, how much room do you need? Are you worried about like your like a tummy problem after you eat the Frito pie?
Oh, well, I mean, that could happen. Yeah,
Okay,
that has nothing to do. We're not can clear a room.
I mean, I'm just like, is that what we're worried about? Because I don't need a little
Well,
space to
you
eat my
definitely
Frito
don't
pie.
want to have that issue at a ballpark because the restrooms are not really conducive to a calm
And it's
experience.
hot. Ooh.
Well, I think that's the other hard part. Like tonight, I think the weather's supposed to be a little bit better, but normally that's the other thing. Eating in the hot stuff, it's a struggle. But we'll read some more of those again. Frito pie, nachos, rocking and rolling. Again, that is our First Bank and Trust Texas Ranger MLB report, and of course, check them out across the street from Abilene Country Club. When we come back, we will have our Mulligan's Misty's Bag question of the week right after this.
Kind of sounded like you're having a mild heart attack right then. Talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah, he goes, roll it, and he's like, I was like, oh my
What is
God.
going on?
His
Well,
fingers
your violent button pushing
I was
completely.
trying not to get distracted.
Well, I got
I
distracted
was so
and I couldn't.
distracted.
It really frustrated me that I forgot that it was recorded.
He's like, so I'm just gonna keep pushing.
My ADD really kicked in where it's like, I cannot think of anything other than Hodge hitting that button. So now I'm going to speak about what I'm thinking, which is Hodge pushing the button.
No, that was funny. Oh,
I just never hit record. Gotta figure out a way to get it off YouTube. The Facebook Live.
He said, get it on.
get it on.
What's your dad's status?
He's going to be here.
Yay! Papa Greer in the house. Love
I
that.
told him to bring the belt if he could find it.
Take it out of the shadow box and bring the belt,
Take
please.
it off your nightstand.
Take it off. Yeah. Put it in your car. He still wears it every day.
In fact, I wish you would call him the time to walk up here and do a few laps with the mall walk.
Oh my gosh, please. Like, can we get a video of him walking and I'll put, hey, no,
With the
for real,
belt on, yes.
with the belt on, and I'll put like some rocky music behind it.
Yeah.
That would be
A real,
fantastic. We can stage it. I love that y'all have spirit days on Fridays. I'm jealous. I want to have a spirit day.
tell Reeve to get his act
I
together.
know. I want him to. I'm over here in a freaking blazer.
I'll call him.
Please, make a
I'm
call.
really not sure why you're dressed like it's Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday.
Well, it's because I have a closing today.
Well,
So
you wouldn't be spirited out anyway.
I would. I'd be like, go team. And then,
Please do that.
maybe I would wear, well, no, because depending on the team, I'm not wearing their colors. Maybe I would ask my customer, who's your team? There's only
Friday closings, I'll wear what you say.
I'll wear what team that you pick out of, they have to be a Texas team. So,
With
No, we
military
started-
coming in, huh?
Sorry, go ahead. I don't know.
But with military coming in, you could have
I know,
a lot of.
but I don't have those colors. So sorry. I cannot wear
What was your
anything.
question?
No, we started Spirit Day last week, but I didn't read the email long enough to see that it said we started Spirit Day last week. So, because it started out with, if you'd like to volunteer to be on the fan committee, which I don't even know what that is.
That like sounds like something I should be involved in.
Oh, but yeah.
I mean, 100%.
If you worked at our bank, you
I'm
would
the president
definitely
of
be in
the
the
fan
fan
club.
club.
It sounds
The
like
fan
the-
club. I
sounds like
don't remember what FAN stands for, but,
It sounds like the party plan committee from the office.
yes,
Yeah, I want
that's
to
what
be
it
the
is.
president of that.
And so they get together and plan, you know, like, I don't know, we have these, well, and they plan lunches and happy hours and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But we're out here in Abilene, we're like the only branch in town, and we're way away from all the rest of it, like the branches, so we don't really get to take a whole lot of, like, but we're supposed to go, like, to happy hour the same day as them, but we're not with them. I don't know. I've never been.
I need to be
I've
promoted
missed the
to
last
this.
couple of things I probably should have done. Well, like, they had the, did you go to Leadership Avenue go last night?
I
You were
did.
there?
I was
I
there.
was there. I didn't see you.
I bet we crossed because I had to take Collins to tumbling.
I saw Clay.
Yeah,
I did
So
not
I
see you.
I should have.
I got there at like 7:20.
What year were you Leadership Avenue?
1998.
The original class.
Old Man Rivers.
You were there with.
I was in the previous, they don't do it anymore, Young Leadership Abilene, that was like for certain age and younger.
Was that the Leaf or something? I don't know, something like that. Welcome back to the Hodge Pack Sports Life and everything in between. We're rocking back in. Again, we appreciate Harry Douglas joining us this morning. And of course, at the second hour, we're going to have our defending world heavyweight champion of all things, picking Mr. Papa Greer will be in the house. But hopefully, the question is, will the belt be here? We're not real sure.
I told him to wear the belt. I don't.
Wear the belt, yes.
But when I told him to do so, he made this face like, I don't know where I sat that.
Like when you scrunched up your nose on the freedom
It was
flag.
the exact same
I
face.
bet it was. I can picture
I'm
it.
not going to lie, though. I really want to get him to come in here early, do one
Oh,
more
no,
lap.
it's happening.
Yeah.
Yes.
So anyway, but yeah, a lot of good stuff. We got our picks. You have time, if you go to our Facebook page, you can make those picks before we do ours. And so get those in.
I forgot to print. Jeez Louise.
Have
I
you been
forgot
drinking?
to print. No, maybe I should start. I forgot to print the sheet to write the picks down on.
Well, you're in luck. I've got some paper.
Oh, Lord help us.
We got a lot of things that started off this morning rough. But everything's going good now, except there's a chance, unless Misty has a hard question, for this.
Y'all, Scotty McCreery is coming. Scotty McCreery
I
is
saw
coming.
him. I'm gonna hijack your section
Please
right
do.
now.
If it's about
right
Scotty, do
off
it.
the top. No, that I just randomly saw it on Twitter that somebody punched a lady at his concert and he like called him out. You know, got security involved.
I loved that. Yeah, I saw
yeah,
that
so-
too.
Abilene,
Random sidebar.
Abilene, do better. Don't punch anybody at all.
If
Please
anyone
don't.
punches a lady,
Scotty's gonna call you out.
yeah.
There's proof of it. He did it. But yes, he is coming to A-Town. He will be headlining Mulligan's Outdoor Bash. It's going to be in honor of Jack King, benefiting, of course, American Cancer Society. Gates are gonna open at 4 p.m. Music's gonna start around 5:30. Saturday, September 14th, we've got Caleb Sutton, Della Rose, Ashley Cook, and then, of course, Scotty is going to close out the show that day. So lots of fun things. I will be there. We're all going to be there. It's going to be so much fun. I cannot wait. I was actually at Mulligan's last night. Shout out to Mulligan's hosting the Leadership Abilene Alumni Association.
That's a lot of words.
It's a lot of words.
I apologize for not being there, but Leadership Abilene is a fantastic program.
It is, and it was really fun to.
And I told you I was there, and I did not see you. I saw your husband.
Yeah. He did. He went before. I took Collins to tumbling and then showed up after. But yeah, Thursdays are hard. So it was tough. There was a lot going on last night, but I did make an appearance. So anyway, okay. So we're going to talk about NFL because it's my favorite thing to talk about. Of course, y'all know this.
That's good.
So there's a lot of, this happens every year. There's a lot of teams that have a lot of hype around them. Some live up to the hype, some don't. So I want you guys to think about teams that there is a lot of hype about this year. about their upcoming season. So which NFL team, we're not talking about the Cowboys.
Oh.
So take the Cowboys out, because there's hype every year, because it's always our year. Which NFL team will not live up to their hype this year and be a huge disappointment, other than the Dallas Cowboys? Because let's just call it what it is.
Well, if you just kill the obvious, then I have to really think about it.
I know, that's why it makes it harder. I knew y'all be
Well,
like, well,
no,
that's easy.
I've got an easy answer.
Well, then go ahead, Captain Know-It-All.
I think the team that's going to digress is the San Francisco 49ers. I think we've waited all day to get Ayuk signed. He got signed. He made 120-something million. But they still have not signed Trent Williams, who's probably a walk into the Hall of Fame guy as soon as he can. I think Brock Purdy will be fine, but I think the pressure of still being the Kyle Shanahan pressure of still trying to find a way to win a Super Bowl, get over that hump, will be there. But my first vote that will be a disappointment will be the San Francisco 49ers.
Okay, solid choice. What about you, Josh?
Well, I'm gonna say that I believe it'll be one of the two teams that's on the Thursday night, season kickoff next
Ravens
week.
or Chiefs?
Yes.
Okay, bold statement, Cotton.
Well,
Why do you
I don't
the
even think
Chiefs?
that's that bold.
Well, I mean, first of all,
Because
I
the
guess
Chiefs. The reason I would say it's the Chiefs is not because I don't think they will be good. I do think they will be good, but they have and Patrick Mahomes specifically have put themselves, and it's an admirable place to be. So I'm not. It's like you wouldn't trade it, but they have put themselves in the situation that it is literally Super Bowl or everyone is ticked off. Like if they don't win it this year, all of their fans will be pissed.
Yep.
They've become the Alabama of the NFL.
I know, but so it's like the hype for them is you have to win the Super Bowl, and anything less than that is going to be a failure. They're not going to three-peat. Is Mahomes ever going to pass Brady? All of that stuff. So they've got and the reason I say the Chiefs, it's just purely because they have the most hype you could ever possibly have. I mean, because you can say that. Well, there's hype for the Cowboys every year. Oh, this is our year. Yeah, it is every year, and then they never do anything. But they're in the spot that if they don't win the Super Bowl, it's a failure of a season. On the flip side of that opening night game, you've got the Ravens, and the Ravens are and with their MVP quarterback, they're on the side of they've not ever lived up to their hype repeatedly. It's like, is Lamar Jackson just overhyped? Is he ever going to live up to pushing them past just some regular season wins and some big stats? I mean, I feel like we're not obviously Raven centric here because we're Cowboys fans, but I really feel like they're kind of in the same kind of position that the Cowboys have been in since Dak and Lamar, they put up huge numbers in the regular season, and then the Ravens have done better. They've gone deeper into the playoffs and things like that. But do they push through? Do they ever overcome?
Well, I think the Baltimore Ravens situation, I agree, in not necessarily in their expectations. A lot of people have them picked to win the division. You and I do. You have the Bengals picked to win that division. Is that because Lamar Jackson is a two-time MVP? Can he take them to the next level? They've added Derrick Henry. He's a little bit older, but he's still one of the best and could probably still be a bit of a workhorse. So I could see that, but I do think the San Francisco 49ers for me. Josh has got the Ravens or the Chiefs. When you start to look, and I'm looking at the ESPN, looking at all the teams, the NFC South doesn't really have a team. Atlanta has some expectations. Can they be better because of Kirk Cousins? Tampa Bay, can Baker still continue to get better? So there's really nobody there that's got high expectations. But really, if you look at all the other divisions, they've got somebody in their division that is the talk about. In the North NFC, Detroit and Green Bay. They're all over the place. Well, who are your thoughts?
So I actually am going with the Falcons because there is a lot of hype around what is Kirk Cousins going to do. And I think, did you pick them to win the division? Obviously, it's a pretty weak division overall. And so I'm not sold on what he's going to do in the bag that he got signed. They've also got a new coach, so there's going to be some growing pains there. New play caller in Zach Robinson, and their defense outside of a couple of people is pretty weak. And so
they did add Jadon though.
Right, but still, I mean, they really don't. They're just not solid, and so I just feel like it's like, ooh, the Falcons, they got Kirk Cousins and this, but I'm like, he's coming off an Achilles injury, and there's just not a lot, and I've talked about this previously, who can come back and just completely shine.
But the benefit of him is he didn't go to an AFC team. He didn't go to
his division will help him for sure.
Right.
But and so my team that I think is going to end up being the biggest disappointment that's got some hype surrounded by it would be the Atlanta Falcons.
That's okay to be wrong. But
I knew Hodge would not like that.
It's okay to be wrong.
But
this is one, and I know we got a couple minutes. The reason I disagree with Josh in the Chiefs' perspective is even though they are probably Super Bowl or bust, they've got 2 Super Bowls to wake them over, even if they don't win this year. Kind of like Bruce Bochy. Next year they'll probably win.
Well, and I don't disagree with that at all. I mean, they are just like we are with the Rangers. We won the World Series last year. We're not playing well this year. So, but you say, we're coming off the World Series. I mean, no one else gets to say that, but the hype behind that, yes, you could always, as a Chiefs fan, be like, all right, we'll go get them next year, but I don't think that's where their head is at all right now.
If they win the Super Bowl, I mean, this is history. Like that's even more
Yes,
pressure
that's
because
the
if they
thing.
do a three-peat,
That's the thing. It's like
nobody's ever done that. So
I mean, they're literally.
I hope they do, honestly, because like nobody's ever done that. That's amazing.
I'm more concerned with some of the ones, because the one that you probably could go with that has a lot of hype is, can Houston have a great sophomore season under DeMeco Ryans, under CJ Stroud? You've added weapons. You, on paper, have gotten better. Are you going to live up to the hype there? Another one that's got to figure it out. Did Detroit hit their ceiling last year with the NFC Championship, or can they be better? I think it's a great question. A lot of folks that are out there with a lot of hype, and we are less than a week away from that game that Josh mentioned that kicks off the NFL season, the Chiefs and the Ravens, again, the Super Bowl champions, opening everything off. When we come back, it's a new era. It's a new playoff system. We've got 12 teams to pick. Will we agree? I know Josh and I already disagree with one conference champion, and we'll be back right after this.
The 12 is hard.
That's what she said.
So me and Adam and Ron were like dissecting it yesterday, and I'm not kidding, we probably talked about it for like 30 minutes, and we all had actually brought who they picked too, but
I will tell you, the only thing that I thought if we did our collective 12, because
I think we're gonna probably match on I would say
but I think it would just be
7.
interesting because we would debate, okay, or even like for us, why should we pick Clemson instead of Miami?
Yeah.
Why should we pick Georgia? Is Texas?
Yeah. At this point, it's just so early. I mean, we don't know. We're throwing a dart. You know what I mean? When that happened, I was like, oh crap. I was like, he is going to be so upset. But literally, like, it just turned off. Like, nobody did anything. That was the craziest thing. I am freezing.
I might be able to record it off.
I wasn't sure, with how how the sound would be on that. I didn't know, but
That's a little bit ahead of it. Terry's so cool, though.
you almost, which I do this at work, you almost need like a little sticky note, like, and just check it every time, like, because some days our brains don't work and we forget. We're getting old, Hodge. Dang it, I got a pin mark on me. Ugh, how did I do that?
Oh, sorry.
It's all crooked.
What you do, Hodge? Didn't hit record.
He wants the crooked one. Oh!
If that busted.
That would have actually been amazing. Yeah, we definitely, hey, I need to film your dad walking up in slow motion, and then I'm gonna put some music behind it and post it on
What time did you
social.
get her?
Jeez. I was like, I know this is gonna spray all over me, and it didn't even worse
It's
than I
like,
thought.
you're like, I don't think that's it.
Yeah. And how are you gonna drink it? Look at the way you're gonna have to put your mouth on
You have to
that.
be able to pull it and unpop it.
It won't, I tried.
Oh,
The jaws of life.
there you go. Actually, you did it. Strong? Never mind.
Never
Never
mind.
mind, I'm just not even gonna say it. I'll get in trouble. Y'all probably haven't. Have y'all been seeing all this Lacey Peterson, like, reopening the case from 20 years ago?
Yes.
Like, there's a Netflix documentary, there's one on Peacock.
Mhm.
What do y'all think? Have y'all seen any of them? I've watched both.
No, I've read a little bit about it. I think that guy there is evil.
Yeah, I think he killed his wife.
Mhm.
But he's like trying to come out and say there's new DNA evidence and yada, yada, yada. But I just didn't know what y'all thought, because it's become, the LA Innocence Project took it on.
Yeah,
And they're trying to get him off or whatever.
12-team college football playoff is here. So let's dig into how the teams can punch their playoff tickets. The 12-team college football playoff will feature the 5 highest-ranked conference champions, plus the next 7 highest-ranked teams, as determined by the CFP selection committee. The
12
I'm here for all your voices. You freak.
He's his own
You
hotkey.
freak.
You freak. I stayed up too late last night.
He's delirious. That's what's happened.
How's Nana?
I know. How is Nana?
She's resting.
Aw.
I mean, she broke her arm and she's
At first, I read it
96
that she broke her hip, and I was like, oh, crap.
96 years old.
Bless
There's
her.
really nothing you can do about it.
At least it was an arm and not a hip.
Usually it's a hip.
Yeah.
Like, prayers for Nana.
I'm gonna roast y'all in this segment.
You know what?
I'm gonna roast y'all. Y'all don't even know.
I'm just gonna be like, I don't care.
That's not the correct answer. That is not, like, not acceptable.
You're wrong. What if I just screamed that in your face?
I would like it.
That is Kirk Street. Welcome back to hour number 2. Kirk Street telling you a little bit. We'll share that video of how the college football playoff starts. Again, it's the biggest change that we've seen in quite some time. We've had 4 forever. It was a computer, it was voices for people. Now it's committee. Now it's 12 teams. And we got it, and it started. They're literally calling it the most anticipated college football season in history. And I don't necessarily think they're wrong about that.
Well, I mean, it definitely opens things up. It gives, the thing that I like about it the most is, well, first of all, I've been lobbying for basically this for a long time, saying that if you win your conference, you should get into some sort of playoff system. And now that is the case. And the added kicker of being with the group of 5 conferences, the highest ranks from those groups getting in, that gives hype to everybody. I mean, like, there is a chance. You have a chance. I mean, like, that's the, well, and that's something that hasn't existed previously. So,
I mean, on a whole nother level, they basically did what adding the wild card did for Major League Baseball, making the end of the season actually relevant.
yes. And the thing is, it's also just very, like I say, builds that hype. Is, yes, Florida State got snubbed in their opinion last year, and it was made such a big deal about it. They obviously laid a complete egg in their bowl game last year, which I thought, like, if you were trying to, like, prove it to someone that you should have been in the playoff, everyone on your team quitting and losing the bowl game is not the way to do it. But they open up the season this year and they lose. And last year, that would have meant, like, your season's over.
Right.
But it's not now. Because if they win the ACC, they
They're
get
in.
to go to the playoff, and you can't say that Kirk Herbstreit made it where you couldn't go.
Well, and it's honestly, it's
Which that's a funny thing to watch on
It
Twitter.
is.
They blame Kirk Herbstreit and Nick Saban. They somehow conspired and ruled the world, and Florida State couldn't go to the playoff.
and now ESPN's hired Nick Saban.
Yes.
I know.
Yeah, it just validated what they were saying.
But you know, and you think about that, but now they've become the biggest Georgia Tech fans.
Oh yeah, because if they look good, it like.
Well, and the other thing that you look at this is it now opens up. You know, they always said there's going to be 2 SEC teams that's in the Final Four. Well, now, so the way it works is you got the top 4 Power 5 schools. Their conference champion will get a bye. They're automatically in. And then the next ranked conference champion of the group of 5 gets in. And then you've got 7 other that it could be anybody. Highest rank, that's how they're going to get in. So you thought there was only 2 SEC teams then. There could be 4 or as many as possible. You're not guaranteed. And I mentioned this past week on Freddie and Harry. Again, check out Freddie and Harry 2 to 6 on ESPN Radio. We're down on the podcast. But they were talking about who has the most pressure. And I told them, I think the ACC and the Big 12 had the most pressure to show that our conference is better than just one team.
Yes.
That we're relevant.
Because
Yeah.
right now, you're like, Clemson, Florida State, we want to get out of Dodge. The Big 12, Texas and Oklahoma, who were the 2 powerhouses for so long, I say powerhouses, they were the brand. They're gone. And now, we first have Kansas that was at the leader of that. Now it looks like a lot of people are picking Utah to win the conference. So it's just a wide open deal to say, hey, our 2 conferences loaded? Because we know what the Big Ten just did. They added Oregon, they added USC. They to a very good conference already. So let's start going through this because we've got to do our picks. Papa Greer's coming with a heavyweight championship belt. We got picks to do. So let's talk about our 12. We'll just start with the conference champions first. Who do you have, Misty Collier, as the SEC champion who's going to get that automatic bid?
No, it's Georgia. There's no other choice here. It's Georgia.
Agreed.
Okay, so you're going with Georgia. Yeah, I went with Georgia too.
I was like, you're not?
I was like,
I was like, what?
I seriously thought about, how good can Texas be?
No.
Georgia's got to come to Texas. Texas has got to go to Michigan. How good can they be? We all agree on Georgia?
We all agree on Georgia.
Yeah, okay. The Big Ten. The Big Ten now is got Oregon. They came to Big Ten media days, threw their big old duck in the lake or the river or whatever it was and said, we are here, quack, quack, with all our money. Josh, we'll start with you. Who do you have winning the Big Ten?
Oregon.
Quack, quack. It's Oregon.
I'm going Ryan Day and Ohio State. So there's our first change. I've got Ohio State getting in. I think they're going to be fine. I think Ryan Day, ironically, he is the Mike McCarthy of the college football world. Multiple double-digit wins, but until you beat Michigan, it does not matter. But I've got Ohio State. All right, let's go Big 12. Big 12, again, we talked earlier, Kansas was the top of getting there, but it was only like a 24%. Wasn't overwhelming. Misty, we'll go back with you. Who do you have winning the Big 12?
I've got Utah.
I do too. Josh?
I've got Oklahoma State,
Ooh, that was my
but that
close pick.
will be.
Is that your kind of fun reach?
Well, no. Like I was looking at their schedule. They do play Utah in September at some point. They play Utah at home, and then they play Kansas State on the road, back to back. Those two games will really be the make or break, and those are both September games, so it's kind of early in the season for them. But them playing Utah at home is why I went with Oklahoma State. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. But if Utah wins that game, then obviously that y'all would be right. So.
Well, I almost picked Oklahoma State, but I was like, nope, I'm going to go for Utah.
All right, this is the one where I'll start with me in the ACC, and I've got the Clemson Tigers. I actually, I know y'all are
Shocker.
shocked, and I'm going to go ahead and do this for the listening world. My What You Talking About, Willis, is Clemson upsets Georgia tomorrow. We'll figure out a way to do that.
Oh, gosh, what
yeah.
a reach.
All right,
That game wasn't even worth putting on the pick'em.
Yeah.
All right, I got Clemson. Who do you have?
You're
Win?
I love it. I love the loyalty. I've got Florida State.
They're going to come back and win it?
I'm going to go Florida State. It's a reach, and
Gosh.
it's a reach, but I've got Florida State.
Uh-oh.
Got Florida State in it.
Josh, somebody calling in to let Misty know she's wrong.
Yeah.
All right, Josh, who do you have winning?
Well, this was one that I was really struggling with back and forth. I wrote down Miami, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was SMU.
They just barely beat Nevada.
I know.
There's still a lot of time.
Y'all are reaching. Y'all
We
are getting at
are.
me on the reach.
But no. I said Miami. I'm just like that.
You're going to
like,
stick with Miami?
Yes, but I think that SMU will step up into that conference and not miss a beat. I think they will do well.
I hope they do. I really do.
But Miami's who have got picked, and that was I was with Florida State till they lost to Georgia Tech, but then I've been waffling on that because that, like I said, this is the year if you're going to lose a game, get upset in a opener. This is the year to do it. But I've got Miami.
All right, so Power Five, Group of Five, who is your person getting that fifth seed, Josh?
Liberty.
Boise State.
Boise was my 1A.
Yep.
I went Boise as well. I thought about going Memphis. If you look at a lot of people feel good about Memphis. I went with Boise State, honestly, probably because a lot of other people did.
That was pretty much the choice, was Liberty or Boise State across the
Well,
board,
and I just think that the difference between those two for me is like it's all going to come down obviously to their ranking, and Liberty has less of a difficult schedule, and so that I believe will lead them to just have a better chance of having a good record.
Yes.
Don't you think? Well, that's not necessarily. You're probably going to go defeated. But all right, so now we got 7 teams that we've got to figure out a way. We don't have to figure out a way. We're going to see who we agree on. Do you have Texas?
Yes.
No.
Okay, I have Texas. Josh does
Texas'
not.
record against SEC teams the last 5 years is abysmal, and now they have to play the whole
All
SEC.
right, I think this is
so
the easiest. Let's do it this way. Give me your next 7, and then we'll do Josh's next 7.
Okay. Texas, Ohio State, Alabama, Notre Dame, Ole Miss, Penn State, and Michigan.
Wow, that is so. You have Ohio State, Penn State, Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
That's 3 Big Ten schools. Josh, who are yours?
Well, I do agree that I think there will be 3 Big Ten schools because I also picked Ohio State. Because if Ohio State doesn't win the conference, Oregon wins the conference. Either one that doesn't win,
Right.
I think makes the
Gets
playoff.
in, yeah.
All depends on if that Ohio State. Well, I guess it may not matter if Ohio State loses again to Michigan.
Well, I think Michigan has taken several steps back. New coach, new quarterback, all of that. So I don't have Michigan in there. But I do have Bama and Notre Dame, as you did. Ole Miss also. Penn State,
Penn State was my
Right.
toss-up, in Michigan too, those were
They
like
may
my
lose
11
this
and 12.
weekend.
they do play a tough game on the road at West Virginia. It's actually, that could derail their season.
Right. It's a stretch.
Then my last two where I differed with you was LSU
Yeah.
and Utah. I think that
You do or don't have Utah?
I have Utah.
Oh, yeah.
I have Oklahoma State winning the conference, and that Utah being in that top
Gotcha.
12-ish, wherever that they need to be. Because I do think too, if it plays out the way that I'm thinking, that two Big 12 teams will make it and one ACC team, and so that's where I think Utah will be right there squeaking in at the very last.
All right, here are my 7, and then we'll go to commercial, then we'll do our picks. I've got Bama, I've got Ole Miss, I've got Oregon, I've got, I mentioned Boise State already, I've got Texas, Notre Dame, and then I've got two, probably my stretches, not necessarily, well, it is because they'd have to be the second one, is Miami and Kansas. Kansas is my probably biggest stretch. I didn't agree with, I don't think Penn State's gonna get it done, but that was my 12. We'll work on putting all those together. We'll get us a board. You'll know who we pick. When we come back, we're gonna do some picking of our own. We're gonna have a champion in the room and see if it continues. We're talking about repeats. Repeats for the Kansas City Chiefs, and can we have a repeat for Papa Griff? We'll be back. Right after this.
Hello.
Y'all doing?
Good, how are you?
Doing well.
Oh, my goodness. That,
Kansas.
I'm still
Kansas
like, that
just-
is, I don't even like my pick, they're so hard to pick.
Kansas just has a little rougher schedule, and that's like.
Adam picked Kansas. Like I said, we talked about this at length yesterday.
Kansas plays Kansas State
Um,
in Manhattan, and they have not beaten Kansas
What-
State
what
since
do you
2009.
Kansas State.
what do you need to write stuff down since you don't have the paper?
Well, I just need y'all's picks.
We can just text them later.
I've got mine circled.
All right,
Yeah.
figure out where we want to put James. and
Are you
then-
going to pee?
Yes.
Okay.
Are you dancing?
Yes, yeah, I'm like, hurry up.
You found Bill?
Yay! Yeah, we definitely gotta get pictures of you, Bill.
Oh, you dropped whatever thingy.
Are you smiling? You're so sweet. She is sweet. Oh. Where are you going? Come back and talk to me. Come back and talk to me. You're so smiley. I love it. She is a crazy lady. Who is this crazy lady?
I should have brought you, various loose things. Oh, they made me sick, right? Couple of
She's
people.
so smiley.
And then that started all the arguments. Who's gonna? Of course. What time did they home last night? Texted at 11 something, so it was earlier than I thought, but.
We actually had heard that. We were from the Market Street to the medicine.
Oh, how are y'all this morning?
Maybe that's not it.
Morning, Connie.
She wrote this right here, yeah. Yeah, that's for good on, yeah. That's for good on. Yeah.
Zach. Hi. This is when they start like getting more fun. You're getting more fun.
Yeah.
She's like,
Yeah.
oh my goodness. Oh, sweet. Sweet, sweet, sweet.
Like Molly and Barrett. Right.
Okay.
You can sit in the chair. I've got Molly's pics. I don't know if we're putting that.
Yes, we can.
Like, or she texted y'all.
Huh?
She texted y'all.
Who?
Molly.
Good morning. How are you doing? It is time for selection as we are getting ready for our picks. Hopefully you do well. Hopefully all do well as we get ready for a full slate of weekend of football tonight with high school football kicking across the state of Texas. Of course, again, some games last night. And of course, a full slate of college football this weekend. Of course, the NFL less than a week away with the opening of the Ravens and the Chiefs next Thursday. But joining us in our Potosi Live studio, getting ready to pick, is our last year's champion. Misty, go grab that belt. There's no sense in it not being on screen. So James, appreciate James Greer, Papa Greer, all the things. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing well.
I know it's been a long night, but everybody's good. And,
Everybody's good, and we're ready for football season.
oh, well, it is here, and Josh is taking care. Josh is going to pick two, and he's got Nice. We got the belt. You can see it. Misty's got it. That
Can
has
you
been.
see it?
Oh yeah, it's right up there, big and everything. And so,
It's so cute. I love it. It actually is really cute.
James doesn't know it, but before he leaves, he's got a mall walk around the building one time with the mall walkers wearing the championship belt. So we've got 10 games again. We'll put those out on Tuesday or Wednesday. Get your picks in to hodgepacksports@gmail.com. You'll get in. We'll have weekly winners, and of course, we'll have the overall champion at the end of the season when it's all said and done. So let's jump in. Again, Friday Night Lights start tonight. The first game that we're picking, again, Wiley Bearmean going to be the starting quarterback. He's a senior. A lot of young kids having to play a number of sophomores. A lot of kids like Julius Juju going to be a junior. What kind of growth has he made? Paul, who went to go play at Tarleton. But Brownwood, 15 straight seasons in the playoffs, very historic two programs. If they were in the NFL, they'd be historic franchises. And so I've got Wiley winning this one. It's probably one of those I'm going to be on the call. I feel like, am I like Kirk Herbstreit?
Yeah, you're not allowed to make that call. Because then your bias will show when you're calling a game for one school.
But I think
you're allowed to do that.
I think it is. I think I'm allowed to because I'm actually part of the Wiley Bulldog telecast, not the biased ESPN telecast.
Well, yeah, ESPN claiming they have no bias is laughable. So yes, I'll allow it.
They don't. You defended Kirk Herbstreit while ago with Florida State.
I've also got Wiley.
Okay. All right, Josh, who do you have? Then we turn it over to Jim.
Well, I'm sorry, I'm just going to be the only one because Molly picked Wiley, and I know that Pops probably did also. So I'm picking Brownwood.
Josh going Brownwood, probably in honor of Taylor Gibson.
Hey, I'm going Wiley. I was looking, Brownwood lost their super duper quarterback from last year, so maybe this is Wiley's time.
Yeah, I think Wiley, the irony is Wiley beat Brownwood at home, went there or on the road, lost them at home, back on the road again this year. We'll see what happens, but I do have Wiley winning it as well. Abilene High is heading to San Angelo to play the Bobcats. I've got Abilene High winning this one. I think Coach Fullen and those guys, they do a great job returning some quality skill players. I've got Abilene High winning that one.
I'm also going to pick Abilene High on this one.
Abilene High.
I've got Abilene High picked in this also, and I know that there were some listeners that had issue with, there being 2 Abilene schools in the pick, but not 3. But Abilene High is ranked in the top 10 in the state, so that's why they're in the pick'em, and that's why I'm picking them.
Okay. All right, next. We're going to TCU Stanford, the newly involved ACC Stanford, no longer the Pac-10, no longer in existence. Stanford and TCU. Misty, who do you have?
It's TCU for me.
I've got TCU also, but the thing is, and the reason I put this game on the list this week is because we all remember last year, Colorado came to TCU, all the hype rolled TCU right over. They lost that early game. So TCU has to bounce back and win the preseason or non-conference, I guess, whatever, Power 5 game. I think they will, but I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't.
I'm going TCU.
I'm going to go the opposite. That's a long plane ride. That's a long time change adjustment. I'm going with the Cardinal and Stanford. Penn State, West Virginia, another game that folks are talking about that could be a upset. We know that as Big 12 people, or I say Big 12, I didn't go to a Big 12 school, so I don't really have a whole lot of Big 12 bias, but West Virginia is similar to Lubbock. It's a tough place to play. Morgantown, not a lot goes on there except West Virginia athletics and West Virginia football. I think it's going to be a tough game. This is my reach. Some may have said Stanford was. I'm going to pick West Virginia on the upset. This will probably put me behind the 8 ball on our pick 'em, but I have West Virginia, maybe in honor of Pat McAfee. And if they win, I'll do the show next week in a tank top.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
I'll have to borrow from Zane.
Dang it. Now I'm like, well, I've got to go Penn State. Obviously, they're in my 12, so I got to pick them.
Josh?
I've got Penn State picking this, but I do think it's a tough game. Molly picked West Virginia, so maybe Molly just wants to see your tank top debut.
Or maybe Molly, unfortunately, her picking skills have gotten worse. If she's agreeing with Hodge. James, who do you have?
I'm going Penn State, but I think it's going to be close.
Which is what we want. And that's what's good about the new 12-team playoff is you've got this expansion. You've got this ability for people like you that Florida State's loss doesn't hurt them and kill them. These are games, but I think Penn State's in a position. Overall, you're fine. If you lose this weekend, you're okay because there's 12, and it's no different for Georgia when they lose tomorrow to Clemson. All right, moving on to the next one. Big ACC. This is where, again, Laura Rutledge. Go download, subscribe, rate, review. You can listen to our Laura Rutledge interview from the past. This is where SEC Nation will be. They're going to be at Florida, Miami, and Florida. 2 schools with coaches, Cristobal and Billy Napier, probably trying to find a way to elevate them back to national talk, if you will. I've got Miami in my 12, which probably hurts because, as Misty mentioned, picking 12 is a challenge. I actually have the Gators winning this because it's at home.
Yeah, I've got the Gators winning this. Interesting, though, that you went against Miami, but I've got the Gators.
Look, I would still get in. If I get 11 teams right and only miss a 12, I'm going to be okay. James, who do you have?
Well, I had Miami, but I had a hard time trying to decide which one of these.
Right, Miami.
And we did. Molly and I both picked Miami, but this game was. It is a tough one, but I think Miami winning this is what propels them to eventually be the ACC champion.
And you picked Florida as well, so
I
you
did.
and I have Florida. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Colorado State, who almost beat Dion last year. Many folks feel like they're going to play the future Big 12 champion. Do you have anybody but Utah? I mean, you have Utah, right?
Utah?
Does everybody have Utah?
Are we?
With
What are
Texas.
we? Yeah, Texas. Sorry,
Yeah.
we're on the wrong.
UT.
Oh, UT.
UT is not Utah.
Oh, sorry.
I
There
was
you
like,
go.
you threw me a curveball. I was like, I
I
didn't
know,
pick
it's
Utah. Like that, no, Texas.
It's funny. All right, so whoever Utah plays this week, they won. And that's our first pick that got right. So Texas and Colorado State. Let me rephrase that. Does anybody have Texas? Anybody have Colorado State?
No,
Okay.
it's the Longhorns.
All right, I didn't think so, and I didn't know if maybe y'all wore Baylor and Colorado State colors. All right, let's go to the school that y'all have. Does anybody have Tarleton?
No.
Tarleton playing Baylor. Okay, Baylor. All right, the interesting one is next is ACU and Texas Tech. Very familiar. Coach Patterson was there at Texas Tech with Coach Wells. now the new head football coach, or not the new head football coach, but the coach at ACU, going up, one of those paycheck games. What's your thoughts about these? Last night, North Dakota State probably got a check from Colorado. What's your thoughts on these paycheck games?
I'm here for it. I mean, I think it's fun for ACU to be able to go and play in Raiderland, and I don't know. I mean, I think it's great for both programs. It's fun. I like both teams. I will be at this game tomorrow. Obviously, I'll be wearing red and black. It's Tech for me.
Okay. What are your thoughts, James, on the paycheck games?
Well, I like them. I think it's good for everyone. It gives a lot of excitement for the paycheck team coming in, and but sometimes those teams can get their act together, and the other team kind of is down a little bit. So, but I'm gonna go Tech for sure.
Josh, I'm assuming.
Yeah, you've got to pick Tech in this, but I looking at this schedule this week and having just the fact that Tarleton and ACU are going to play, Big 12 schools, it's good for the local environment, and even if they get stomped, but really, like Pops was saying, when those paycheck schools, if they go in there and kind of disrupt a little bit, sometimes if you get the other guys on their heels and make it a better game than it should
Absolutely.
be. I don't think this will be a very good game, but I hope it is.
Yeah, and I've got Tech too. I hope they play well. The reason I'm semi against them is that the person writing the check isn't getting much out of it. Last night, North Dakota State, now I can't confirm, we can check it out when we go to break in a moment. If they got a check, it almost cost them more than whatever they were paying North Dakota State. Tomorrow, for me, it's like Tech needs to win big for them and their fan base, and they got to get out healthy. For ACU, enjoy the experience, try to find a way to win. They scored quick on A&M last year. Can they do that in Lubbock? You're going to have there will be some purple and white in the stands tomorrow, but I do think Tech wins that. Let's finish with A&M Notre Dame, LSU, USC playing in Vegas. Lincoln Riley, a lot of talk around him. Can he really be good and go to the next level? He brought in some defensive help on his coaching staff. Can they be good? Who do you have winning this one, Misty?
Oh, this is tough. I'm stretching. I think I'm going A&M.
LSU, USC is the game.
Oh, well, that's not the next one on the list, so you skipped it.
But
I
also,
totally missed
but
that.
I also said that we were skipping
LSU.
that.
Oh, my bad.
That's
Apparently,
all right.
I need to stop drinking Baileys in my coffee.
Well, I need to stop thinking UT as Utah. Which it is, though, is the.
That's what's funny, is it is.
Yeah.
I'm going LSU.
All right, we got LSU, Josh.
LSU, Molly picked LSU, but this is a season-defining game, and I love the fact that we have several of those first week right off the bat. So I'm excited about it just in general. I do think it's LSU.
Well, and I started to do that before everybody started talking, but I'm going to go ahead and stay with LSU unless I get the approval from y'all, because I looked to start doing that before Misty started talking about LSU, of picking USC because of the similar reason I'm picking Stanford. LSU is coming to that side of the country. If it's okay with you, can I have permission to change it?
Yeah.
I'm going to go to USC.
Fine.
I will go USC. Okay, we'll finish with this for sure. Texas A&M, Notre Dame. We're doing that game right now.
Are we sure?
Yes,
Hold on.
we are doing that game right now. But tomorrow, College Game Day will be at will be at College Station, along with, don't get Harry Douglas tomorrow at 7:20. Catch him before College Game Day. Notre Dame, Texas A&M, both. Notre Dame, they're going to have to be the other team because there is no conference. Who do y'all have winning? Misty will go with you.
I'm going to go with the Aggies.
Okay.
I'm picking A&M.
Josh, you go, and we'll finish with that.
Notre Dame, I do think that, like I said, it's a season-defining game right off the bat. So it's a must-watch TV, but Notre Dame.
And this is one of my toughest picks. I went back and forth, but I'm going A&M.
See, I was the same. Coach Elko coming in, first year as the head coach. He's been the DC. He talked with Marty Smith about how he's never ran down the tunnel. He's always been up in the booth because he's the defensive coordinator there. They've got a great quarterback in Wagerman. I've got A&M too. Don't forget, you can listen to the Texas A&M game tomorrow right here on KOGD. Texas A&M, Notre Dame, both of them, like you mentioned, Josh, both of them need this win because of the fact that you've got a gauntlet of a schedule in Texas A&M. You got a gauntlet of a schedule with Notre Dame, and we all have the Aggies winning that. All right, you got to get your picks in. Will James be the two-time defending champion? James, appreciate you. I know I had a long night, but thank you for being here.
Thank you
Picking
for
the games.
Thanks for the invite.
All right, games are set, games are picked. When we come back, we will have our Big Country Electric My Town segment with the head football coach at Merkle, Coach Westwood, and CJ Walcott, his wide receiver senior and free safety. We'll be back right after this.
Yeah, and I gotta go to work. So.
Like it's happening.
All right,
Okay,
let's get
will you put the belt on?
hey, real quick, let's get a picture of us,
Okay,
and then let me start this call, then y'all can do
and
that.
then I can get a slow-mo video out here.
But hold the belt, let's get a picture.
Yeah, let's get a
Let's
picture.
get a picture.
Okay.
Mom, can you take our picture?
Yeah.
All right. Grace, can you get this? Chris, yeah.
And if you don't want to put it the right way, you can put it over your
You can
shoulder
be in
like
the
that.
middle.
Throw it over your shoulder like that.
Yeah, so cute. Oh my gosh. Okay. So good. Yeah, like right here. Yeah.
All right, we'll get you in the middle.
Oh yeah, you're the champ.
Hey, hey,
Middle,
hey.
middle. Okay, perfect. All right, now
I'm
while
running-
you got it on.
I'm running to work. See y'all. Okay, see
Hey, are you lunching or what are you doing?
Yeah,
All right, I'm lunching today.
okay. Bye, Grace.
Oh my gosh, this is gonna be great. I'll edit it later. Okay, lunch, I'll just go.
Hey, Coach, how are you? Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we are at commercial. We will. Where's my notes? I knew I wrote down some notes. Yeah, we're at commercial. Man, all right, there we go. CJ, you there? Okay, all right, we'll talk. We're gonna talk basically, Coach, new school, new start. Talk about how important it was growing up in a place like Muleshoe that had some tradition, that had some success. You know, some of your coaches that you looked up to, all those sorts of things. And we'll talk about tonight. And CJ, we'll talk about how, you know, being the senior, you always wait to be a senior. You get there that moment, and then it'll be softball questions. I mean, not
Maybe we're good to go.
good deal. All right, let's see. We got 2 more commercials and we'll be ready.
I'm good.
Okay. I'm glad everybody survived the pantyhose skit.
I was scared that someone's gonna hit concussion.
Yeah. Why are you not in the? Why'd you not play? Well, we had 6 kids with the concussions. Oh, from practice? Nope, pantyhose.
I was ready to tackle them if they were getting close to each other's heads.
All right, pest control phone line will be perfect. We'll roll into the pest control phone line. All right. Hotkeys up. How did the painting go? Field painting.
It took us all the way to 11:15, but it was good.
Oh, wow. All right, here we go. All right, we're coming back. Welcome back to the Hodge Pack. It is time for My Town. our My Town segment brought to you by Big Country Electric. My Town segment brought to you by the Big Country Electric Cooperative, taking care of their business members, Roby Snyder and Stanford. Snyder, familiar place for the guy that's on our Pest Patrol phone line, but joining us from Merkel again is the head football coach, Wes Wood, and wide receiver, free safety senior, CJ Walcott. Coach, appreciate you guys taking time this morning. Again, Coach, you grew up in a town very familiar with successful football, successful programs and coaching trees and all the things. And so, Coach, tell us a little bit about kind of what got you into coaching and some of the people that inspired you to do what you're doing today.
Man, I know at least a third generation coach, but I'm not any more than that I didn't know about. Kind of all I've ever known. Grew up in the coach's office. My dad was my high school football coach. His dad was his high school football coach. So something that I thought I would probably end up doing as I was kind of going through college, figuring out what I wanted to do. When playing college ball, and I just knew that like the game, the atmosphere, the relationships, the things that the game will provide you, it just required like tools for life. I knew that was something that had to be a part of my life forever. And so, yeah, I was just super blessed. My dad, still my hero. There's so many things that I do now as a coach in the youth that I'm off of the example that he showed me growing up. And so, as a dad now, I try to do my best to coach our kids and love our kids, to change their lives and make a positive impact, but also, try to be a great example I own to kids. I know how much I was at my mom and dad and educators and everything that they gave. So it was one of those deals where, I would provide that same example for my kids, to be able to be a part of their life and to be a part of the game that I love.
Well, and let's talk about, for those that don't, Coach Wood grew up in the city of Muleshoe. So, being the other famous coach from Muleshoe, what was it like growing up in a town with now the head football coach at USC in Lincoln Riley?
Oh, man. So you can go to America, you're thinking of Lincoln right after that, just because of how he changed college football and made it stand. But yeah, so Lincoln was my hero. I wear number 12. I still got an necklace on right now with number 12 on it. I sat beside Lincoln in my city locker room. I sat beside Lincoln on bus rides. When we were headed down to Dallas Stadium, we played in the semifinals. I sat beside Lincoln on the charter bus, playing with him. Lincoln was my dude. He was just a great leader. He was great with, the little kids like myself that looked up to him and thought he was Superman. Obviously, unbelievable, phenomenal coach. What some people may not know about Lincoln is he had photographic memory, and like he wouldn't even take notes. And I he just got go to class and like do super well. So it makes a lot of sense that he just remember like exactly what was ran on third and four against West Virginia in 2016. He's a genius. His younger brother, Garrett Riley, who obviously kind of went on a similar path. And then he was the OC when GCU went to Cincinnati a couple years ago. Now he's the OC at Clemson. I was actually coaching Garrett, who's a year older than it. So they're both pretty famous dudes, the Riley family. And it's pretty cool. They could give my dad credit. And the coaches that were on staff with my dad, Coach Mason and those guys, it's cool. They're like, those coaches impacted me, and those coaches made me want to be coach one day. And so it's pretty unique to the sort of experience. I was lucky to be part of it.
Well, and let's talk about where you're at now. You're the head football coach entering season number 1 at Merkel. Got Ballinger tonight. What are you excited about what you've seen so far with what's taking place in Merkel?
Man, these kids just make me so blessed to be here every day. They will love me. Like I show up, but it's kind of like, oh man, Coach Wood's here. It's like
CJ, let's talk about you again. CJ Walcott, senior, Merkle Badger. You've been, all of us wait, whether we're a basketball player or a football player, to be that senior, to be that leader. So what are you looking forward to, and has it really hit you? I know mamas always get nervous when people are seniors and are about to leave school, but what does it mean for you being a senior and get to be that leader with Coach Wood, but leading the guys out tonight as y'all take on Ballinger?
It's just good, man. I've been looking forward to this year for a long time. Me and the guys, we've been talking, and we're super excited for tonight. And me along with all the other captains, we're really adapted well to Coach Wood, and we're ready. We're ready for tonight, and we're ready to bring on the boys and show y'all what we're about this year.
Well, and that's a good stuff. And I want to talk real quick. I'm going to ask you, and I'm going to point it back to Coach Wood. He talked about numbers. CJ, you've got some freshmen that are going to have to play and maybe play a number of downs. How important is it for you to understand as seniors to be that example, to be there, to pick up, to ease the nerves of maybe all the kids, but even more so maybe some of those freshmen that are going to have to play tonight?
It's really important. The guys, they don't have a lot of experience at the varsity level, and it's shown, but I feel like that we're going to step up, and we know where we are.
And Coach Wood, talk a little bit about that. You mentioned the numbers, but knowing, hey, there's a reason you're not just there because we gotta have you, but we got enough faith in you to put you up there.
Yeah, so nothing official. We don't really necessarily have a lot of full cheer on freshmen unless they're going to play. And so right now we're supposed to be the cheer on two, and they're going to play. I think music and snap tonight. So one of them may be starting both ways. So this by default, considering the situation we're in, we're going to be sick, the kid got injured. But that's kind of just part of it, especially when you start looking at small schools, every night for football. We don't get to recruit. We get what we get, and we're going to try to be the best that we can be with what we got. And so pulling the trigger on, two of our freshmen with somebody at the right position, that hurts your dignity when you do that. But at the same time, we're probably going to have 20 kids that are in uniform. And so it's really getting worse and not up there. And I think those kids are actually just fine. I really, really do. They've been great so far. They body their trying to be out with their pretty nervous. The seniors, the upperclassmen have done a great job leading and welcoming and supporting those guys. Making sure that they feel like they should be there and that they're ready to be there. And ultimately, we were in the field last night, and the guy came out, TJ and John came out, we were looking at the field, and we're like, who's kind of reminiscent, thinking back to start playing the game with a little kid, we absolutely love it. Turn around, like, man, this kid here is common. The kid realized, we are enjoying it, right? It's not a big deal, kind of thing. And, that would get you a little bit emotional. So it's kind of a cool, bittersweet feeling for a lot of these guys who put these freshmen. You're going to see the Bud Clyder scoring pretty high. And I think it's just like a exciting time to do that. High school football doesn't have a like it. I'm talking about baseball, but he's a baseball guy through and through. And the greatest sport out now. And he was a football player. They don't know best friend. He goes on drafted. He said, man, there's nothing that compares. Nothing like it.
Well, again, Coach, we appreciate you taking the time. I know Friday's busy, even without school, and CJ as well. Good luck tonight. Take care of the Ballinger Bearcats, and go get you a W as the head coach of Merkle. Appreciate you guys joining us this morning.
Yeah, we appreciate you having us on. Thank you.
All right, Coach Wood and CJ Walcott taking on Ballinger tonight in Merkle. When we come back, Misty and I will send you into the weekend, the great football weekend That is. We'll be back right after this.
Happy Thursday Spice Refreshers, a non-carbonated refresher with alcohol.
Man, appreciate it.
Any day of the week. Like when we get to see Monday. Swap it for the bright fruit flavors of Happy
All right,
Thursday.
y'all have a good one. Talk to y'all later.
Or tuna.
Bye.
The reel is amazing. Look.
Did you post it already?
I just made a reel. It's so good. The slow-mo.
All right, so what we'll do is we'll come back
So good.
and we'll talk about that, and we'll head into the weekend. Do you feel comfortable? Do you feel good about your 12? What was, we'll finish it.
Yeah, I mean, but I really didn't. I mean, early it's hard. I mean, there's always going to be a few that you're like, oh my gosh, I never saw that coming.
Well, and that's
So,
the deal. Like
It's so hard to pick.
I asked Harry, Missouri and Ole Miss are a lot that everybody got good.
So, I mean, it's just hard. But I didn't.
I remember to take this with me. It'd be cool if we get a lot of plays off of it and views.
It won't let me tag James, dang it.
Welcome back to the Hodge Pack, sports life and everything in between as we get ready to send you into the weekend. Of course, great country music all weekend long. Also with great football right here on 106.9 The Country Giant. Tonight, the Anson Tigers will be playing Hamlin. You can listen to that right here on KOGD. Of course, tomorrow the Texas A&M Aggies taking on Notre Dame, the Fighting Irish coming home. It was fun having Papa Greer in. He brought the belt. Miss T, tell our people that they definitely need to go to our Facebook page.
Oh, yes, please do. I just uploaded a reel with Papa Greer. He's just the cutest, and he's so good at this challenge. But yeah, he's amazing. He helped me out doing a little video here at the Mall of Abilene, and so it was really fun. But yeah, go to our page and check it out and give Papa Greer some love. He's rocking the belt today.
Well, and it is cool, we play for this, and of course, there's no way that it's rigged or anything like that, that James won. He put his picks in just like you can, and he got them right. And so be sure you get those picks in today at hodgepacksports.com or hodgepacksports@gmail.com. Misty, we're heading into the weekend again. Friday Night Lights kicking off. You heard Coach Wood talking about that. I want to encourage you to go download, subscribe, rate, and review, especially Merkel folks and those CJ's folks and family and friends that want to hear their interview. Go download our podcast. Encourage your friends to download, subscribe, rate, and review. We love 5-star ratings. And of course, check out our YouTube channel where you can watch and sometimes hear more than you probably want. Actually, the behind the stuff is fun. Misty, as we go into this football season, we talked about our college football and how that it is hard to pick 12. It's harder to pick 4, but then debate about the 6. But it's even more difficult to figure out who those 12 are going to be, because 4 of them are going to get in. They're going to be conference champions. Then you have that other one, but then those other 7 is very, very difficult because there's just so much football season left and a lot of good games. The rivalries that are back with Texas and A&M, everybody's excited about that. But new rivalries were Oregon and Ohio State, and now Georgia's coming to Texas on a semi-regular basis, and it just makes football so much fun.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of March Madness. It's like when you're picking the bracket and day one, it busts. This is just a little bit different because, like we talked about losing last week, well, they can still, it's like you're saying there's a chance. Yes, there's a chance with these new rules. And so it's going to be very interesting, but I do feel like a little bit of March Madness in how do I pick, who do I pick? And so, you know, I think there's some obvious choices, but yeah, you talk about that last like 5 or so, 4 or 5, and obviously the last couple, it's just really, really hard to nail it down this
Well-
early on.
Well, and you're exactly right. The bracket's gonna be set very much like March Madness. The other thing, we definitely want to touch on, the big news out of Dallas this week was CD Lamb getting his contract, getting his deal done. Still leaves whether or not Dak will get his new contract before the season starts, or will he just roll in and play on the $55 million is still not a bad deal. Did you see Steph Curry signed an extension for 1 year for $62 million? Ayuk got signed, Jamar Chase got signed. So many people that got signed, crazy. But CD now, but here's the other deal. We no longer, after today, will not have a show where we don't have high school football, college football, and the NFL, because we'll be on next Friday, right after the Chiefs and Ravens, who Josh thinks the hype is going to go away. You've got the Falcons going down as well. I've got the 49ers as the stretch there. But anyway, we appreciate you so much. Don't forget to download, subscribe, rate, review. Go like Misty's Reel. Papa Greer, totally the champion of the mall walking, champion of the pick'em as well. We'll see you next week. Listen to football. Get that Anson Tiger football, Aggie football all weekend long. And starting next week, you will have Dallas Cowboy football as well. Appreciate you guys. We never take you for granted, our listeners. But don't forget, JB Cloud coming in. Of course, some great music with Greg Austin. And enjoy your weekend. And see what can happen when you go to the Jones tomorrow night. Misty will give a report of the new end zone things next week on the Hodge Pack. Sports, life, and everything in between.